Alrighty, good evening ladies and gentlemen, this is Harry Muppet. Welcome back to another Starcraft 2 Daily Masters cast. It's actually been over a week since I cast my last game. I've been on a work trip all week, haven't had a chance to cast, so I'm actually only a day ahead despite all of the casting which I did beforehand. So let's get into it, let's get it started, and yeah, let's get into it. So let's introduce our players. We're still going through the round of 32 for Premier League of the GSL, I believe. It's run back in August. So yeah, a whole bunch of good games still to go. Let's start checking it out. So up the top right side of the map, we do have Mr. Maru. He is 17 years of age, from South Korea, plays for the Jin Air Green Wings team, and looking pretty good with a sweet command center off after the barracks. And down here he does have a Reaper out nice and fast, but the Reaper has not got any kills and looks unlikely to get any unless it's a nice Ling kill, which he's getting very close to right there. Oh, actually got close to a worker kill there by the looks of it. Finishing off that worker would be very, very sweet, but I don't know if he's going to be able to get in close enough to it. The Lings are keeping them away and the Queen is out now, so it looks like the Reapers are going to be getting chased away by the queens of Mr. DongRaeGu. He is, on my other page, he is 23 years of age, from South Korea, and is not currently part of a team as far as I'm aware. He was part of the MVP team, and that finished in the end of July this year. So end of July seems to be a bad time for people leaving teams and stuff. Ooh, look at this. The Reapers are taking quite a lot of damage, but they are doing quite a bit of damage to that Queen. Could potentially finish it off if they really want to push, but falling back, getting up a bit of health. Very, very nice stuff. And he's actually going for a third base out the front here, getting the factory out, getting the Hellions out as well. So it looks like things are going to be going pretty good in this game for both players so far. Got a nice amount of macro coming out. Mr. DRG, of course, getting that macro advantage and getting the third base down as well. So fairly standard stuff this early on in the game, and we'll just have to see how it develops from here. This third base, I guess, isn't all that standard. It's definitely going to slow down stuff like a fast starport or a couple of barracks be coming out early, but I don't know if Mr. DRG is going to take advantage of it. He's getting the third base out, still pushing heavily on the workers, and we haven't seen anything coming out of him like well, he's got Link's Feed, which is something, but we haven't seen a Roach Warren. We don't think we've seen a Lair yet, so it doesn't look like he's going to push hard for any sort of serious tech. And at this stage of the game, Lings are just not going to do the job when it comes to breaking this wall. So it's going to have to be Roaches or Lair tech if he wants to take advantage of this slightly slower sort of play that Maru is doing here. But he's got his own problems to worry about. The Reapers are getting hit here as well as the Hellions, and actually turning around, going to be scaring away the Queen. Queen taking quite a bit of damage quite fast, but some nice micro there from DRG to pull it behind the other two Queens, and these guys starting to get owned a little bit as well. So if they can go in and snipe the Queen, that would be nice. They might be able to do it. A whole bunch more Hellions here, and they're actually going for the wrong Queen, but it looks like they might be able to finish this one off. Ling's coming at the very last second, and a heal on one of the Queens does manage to save these guys. I don't think... Oh, look at this. We've actually not lost any units so far. So the micro, from both of these guys, quite sensational. Maru, I would have thought he'd lost at least a Reaper by now with all of the action he's been seeing, but no, he has kept them all alive. And here we go. We got 1-1 coming down for ground attack, so it does look like potentially going to be some sort of mutiling play coming out of Mr. DRG. Maru going for 1-1 as well. I think he's a little bit further in front, but if we want to talk about who's in front, we can start to talk about the income, because DRG doing an exceptional job of getting his worker numbers up. He's just building so many. Look at that, 8 more coming out at the moment. That's going to put him 20 workers in the lead, which is a phenomenal amount. Considering it's not even the 10-minute mark, I mean, 67 workers is phenomenal. But no doubt Maru is going to be getting up there nice and fast. He's got the third base down now, so 3 workers at a time is going to see him catch up to Mr. DRG in a few minutes. But he's not going to get too much further than 70. May even stop at 60. 60 on 3 bases, quite a decent amount to be mining off, especially for a Terran player. But Looks like Mr. DRG is fairly happy with his worker numbers at the moment. He's going to be going for a Baneling Nest, he's going to be going for a Lair and a Spire. Hopefully you should be seeing one of those very, very soon. Because I do believe that Mutiling is going to be the name of the game. Look at this guy. So close to being killed, but still alive. And there we go, there's a Spire coming out. We've got all the same sort of tech that we need over here. Mr. Maru's base, he's got the starport, he's got a whole ton of barracks, double Evo chambers, of course, and an armory coming out so we can get those level 2 upgrades. Yeah, he should have built that a little bit sooner because he's actually had to wait on getting the level 2 upgrades, but it's not a huge gap. And DRG has only just finished his level 1, so he's not that far behind. Getting a beautiful wall up here behind there as well. A whole bunch of Hellions are going to be guarding that. No Banelings as of yet. So I think he's just expecting us to be open. If he knew there was that wall there, then he would definitely get a few Banelings and just roll on through there and do massive amounts of damage. But I'm not sure if he's scouted that area. It does not look like he has. Meanwhile, though, he's managed to get a 4th base out here, but this thing is going to be forced to be cancelled very, very fast. Somehow I lost my zoom there. That's unfortunate, but moving on in, going to try and do some stuff. There are queens here. And oh, look at that. All of the Banelings coming in. And Maru, at the very, very last second, saves all of his forces, gets the hell out of there. Very, very nice play. And these guys with a bunch of Hellions do scare away this small Ling pack. He's actually going to drop down, see what he can do there. Not much, but Maru is suddenly a very, very aggressive player. But at the same time, DRG just pumping out an insane amount of Lings. He's got no lack of an army at the moment, but the Baneling numbers maybe not with him at the moment. He's got 8 Banelings and 70 Lings, so he's pushing over into that Baneling number. But of course, building Banelings, when you first start building the Mutas, you want to get as many Mutas out as you possibly can early on, and that's exactly what he's trying to do out here. So he's getting in nice and close, getting some Widow Mines down. The Banelings are coming through. They are scaring some Marine forces away, but Maru not engaging with more than he needs to. He's definitely on top of the creep though, and DRG just goes absolutely nuts on everything. Widow Mines taking some hits, but some Banelings still finding their way into the Marine numbers. And I don't know if Maru is going to hold here. I think he's going to have to back off. He just does not have enough, and the Muta's coming at the perfect time to scare those medevacs away. There's absolutely nothing left, and looks like they're going to get some damage off. They killed 2 medevacs before the reinforcements from Maru scare the rest of the army away. And it's looking like it's going to be an exceptional game between these 2 players. Both players in a... yeah, they're in a very, very good spot. They're just about to get 2-2 coming out. Maru just shelling Marines across the map with that macro cannon. Doing a great job. The Muta numbers are coming up. DRG trying to keep his Baneling numbers up as well. Trying to balance the Mutas and the Banelings as far as the gas spending, and is doing a pretty good job so far. But he's really holding on to this 3rd base, and the creep here is doing pretty good. So Maru hasn't really knocked the creep back too much, and that does mean that it is quite perilous to go in here. And here we go, DRG just moving in and is really pushing these forces away. I don't think that, I don't know actually, Maru's a little bit of reinforcements here, but once again he does get knocked back, and this is not looking good for Mr. Maru here. That's the 2nd time he got knocked back. The first time it was very, very close, but the 2nd time I'm not sure if it was that close. I think DRG actually just smacked him around the face and just sent him on his way. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting because this is just, I mean, DRG is just looking so much stronger here. He's got 20 more units, and only 6 of them are the workers. So his army is looking pretty sweet, although Maru is catching up quite fast. Oh, yeah, I don't know. All I can say is DRG is looking very, very strong in this game so far. Getting the 5th base. Maru's still on 3. I don't believe we've got a spare command center anywhere. Doesn't look like it. So, yes, he's going nuts on the 3 base play. He does have 3-3 on the way, whereas Mr. DRG does not for his ground forces. He does have level 1 coming out for his air. Maru deciding to go for a different path here, trying to push through here, maybe get a look at that 5th base. But it's going to be very, very hard for him to push through all this creep. The creep has really been a very, very effective deterrent for Maru's force. You can potentially push through here, but that would be just crazy, I think, going uphill against the Banelings and Lings up there, that would be absolutely nuts. So he's going to try and go for here, taking care of the creep as fast as he can, and then falling back. I like this. He's going to keep pushing on here, but he's got his forces spread out fairly nicely. So the front group is going to get owned. But as you can see here, Maru just doesn't seem to have the forces. DRG just got so many units out here, and he just overwhelms every single time. We do have Mr. Maru's forces split up there. The Marine's taking out this base. It's going to be nice. Another force over here taking out the creep tumors, trying to get as much as they can. DRG overwhelms this force, but does lose his 5th base. I'm not sure if he's going to be too upset about that. He basically had 2 spare bases, so now he's only got 1 spare base, which is this 5th base over there. So he should be quite fine at this point. And I like the fact that, you know, Maru split up his forces, trying to go for multiple things. Did a pretty good job, and actually did take out that base. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to slow DRG down at all. I think he's just going to keep going nuts. And yeah, Maru just about finished the 3-3 though. He's got the 3 weapons, 3 armor just about to hit. And we'll see if this is going to turn it around, because he's still on good terms as far as his army is concerned. He's still got a ton of army forces. But DRG, for one of the first times in this game, is moving out with his forces. And he's still doing a pretty good job, but it's not as overwhelming as it has been when he's been on the defensive, when he's been on the creep. This time, Maru has held on quite convincingly, I'd say. DRG, of course, not wanting to risk his muta forces, which is a very, very wise move, but he did run all of his Lings and Banelings in there and didn't do the damage which I think he needed to make a push. And now the only choice he's really got is to do the harassment route with the mutas, try and force the army back, and we'll see if Maru does pull back or if he goes for a trade situation. But unfortunately, he's got almost nothing here. The reinforcements are probably going to be speeding over to try and help there, but there's no missile turrets at all. Bit of a downside, because 2 or 3 missile turrets can work wonders versus even a fairly decent group of mutas. He's going to try and see what he can take down here. And Maru is starting to scare these guys away with reinforcements. Meanwhile, the Banelings coming in, having to lift up into the medevacs to get away from those Baneling numbers. So quite a bit of damage done from both sides. Maru losing a bit of workers, not too many though. And DRG did lose a base over there. And that was actually his 3rd base, which I think still had a decent amount of minerals left. So, but the mutas coming in, just, yeah, almost doing something here, but not quite. And how many Banelings does DRG have? Nothing. He's got no Banelings at all. He's got a crap ton of gas, but no Banelings, and it looks like that's just it. So when those guys came up, he just was not prepared, did not have the Banelings, and yeah. So there, I think it started going downhill when he did that attack up here off the creep, and he lost so many units and didn't do the damage to Maru that he needed to. He tried to make him fall back by going around and attacking these bases. It didn't work. Maru just headed him off with some reinforcements, and otherwise just let the workers die, while at the same time pressing with his own attack, which I think was the right thing to do, because if you got the army, then you're concentrating on finishing the game. You're not concentrating on keeping your macro up. You're concentrating on doing some damage, and later on, I mean, you're a tournament player. You can mule your way to a victory if you absolutely have to. So really like that play, and in the end, it turned out beautifully for Maru. So really, really great stuff. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this game, and I will catch you guys tomorrow for another one. Stay tuned.